walk with me.
Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man whom the I am imputeth not iniquity, and whose spirit there is no guile. When I kept silent, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day long. For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me, and my moisture is turned into drought of summer. Selah. I acknowledge my sin unto thee, and mine iniquity have I not hid. I said, I will confess my transgressions unto the I am, and thou forgavest the iniquity of my sin, Selah. For this shall every one that is godly pray unto thee in a time when thou mayest be found. Surely in the floods of great waters they shall not come nigh unto him. Thou art my hiding place. Thou shalt preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about with songs of deliverance, Selah. I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go, and I will guide thee with mine eye. Be not as the horse or as the mule which has no understanding, whose mouth must be held with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto thee. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked, but he that trusteth in the I am, mercy shall compass him about. Be glad in the I am, and rejoice, rejoice, and shout for joy, all ye that are upright in heart. Yes, a Psalm 32, a Psalm of David. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits. That's what it says. It fell on the floor. But either way, and let them not, it says, and let them not lead me astray. Let me read this again. I'm in my different room. It says, now, deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. A prayer of Abraham. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this platform and those shared platforms. We thank God for you, and you. And we thank God for those of you that have subscribed, and those of you even from the beginning. Yes, I thank God for you from the beginning. Yes. And I thank God for those of you that have been that came thereafter and here and there's about, and we thank God for you. Yes, you have not come here by mistake. And those of you that have just subscribed, we thank God for you too. And those of you that are about to subscribe, we call those things that are not as though they are. Yes, all praises to the Most High. A small word on this thing about this Bible banning and different things that are happening. Now, as far as those of you that believe God is three and God is all this and that, this is the work of the Most High. Many of you think, oh, we're going to go through persecution. We're going to do this. And then some of you take the Bible as to be the Bible of many different books. And there are books that were included in this collection of books that these entities call themselves authorizing or canonizing. I mean, you have all the books of Genesis, Enoch, and all these other books that God have given us. How in the world can a few letters and some testimony be the Bible in itself and change the whole concept of God? This is the work of the Most High. In other words, these are the books that have led you into paganism by what was inserted in them. It's not that the characters was not living, but they're not who you think they are. But the fact is, regardless of all these other things, all these other books that you see, the main thing God wants you to understand and know is his laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. Laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. He wants you to practice these things. He wants you to be aware of them. He wants them to be an armament about you. That is, if you're going to go into that testament, you're going to say, this is the whole armor of God. that you remember what he told, especially you that think that you are Israel, to do those things that are before the Most High. These people that are doing this, they're not Israel. They're not even, come on here. God gave Israel a task, and that Israel accomplished that task, and Israel failed God in many ways, but not to its total demise. For God said there's a remnant, not only in the Old Testament, the New Testament, what some of you read, but the Old Testament is already there. You don't need the New Testament, really. All that stuff is already there. Everything you need is in the books. If you have nothing but the book of Numbers, or if you have nothing but the book of Deuteronomy, if you have nothing but the prophet Isaiah, these things are there. And let us continue. I digress. But anyway, we're in the book of Jasher. The book of Jasher. Yes, Jasher and chapter 33. We ended with verse 11. Or should I say 34? I'm sorry, 34. 34. Yes, and we're in verse 12. We ended with the children of Jacob, namely, I believe it was Judah and Simeon, who have took the children of Shechem, or those who were in the land that was named after Shechem, the son of Nahor. And what had happened was they took their daughter Dinah. They took the daughter of Jacob, Dinah, and he raped her. Raped her is what I said. But anyway, the fact is that they had to figure out the way, because the children of Shechem were mightier than they. But they figured out a way to subdue the children of Shechem. And now they told them to do this thing. And the children of Shechem, they began to accept it, because this Shechem, whom the land is named after, wanted Dinah. He wanted her so bad. But this is the work of evil spirits. Yes. Now this is the work of the Most High. He allowed this to happen. Some of you try to figure out God. God is evil and God is this. Who can know God by trying to figure him out? Many of you don't even read the Bible to even know who he is. You don't know God. And when you know God, then you still have to know God. There's many things God is. That's why his name, I am, whatever he's done. Yes, that's who God is. You can get into these name things and all these little into your, I figured out God. I know who he is. And every time you try to say you figured out God, you done figured out some devil or some evil or something wrong, and you blaspheme and you cause yourself to be idolatrous and many things. And you go into that place that Enoch have talked about, Prophet Enoch have talked about, where the fire is hot. You see the rich man, I doubt it. And you see Lazarus in the gulf, in the bosom of Abraham is what they called it. And you'd ask him for water. You got to realize hell was a concoction of what the book of Enoch is. Even when you go into Dante's Inferno, a comedy, he was mocking the book of Enoch. All the spirits and stuff that you see, everything made out of gods, these come from the book of Enoch. All the different spirits, they all come from the book of Enoch. But nevertheless, I digress. Let's go ahead. I can go forever and then give you some backup. But the fact is, here we go. Behold, he's in verse 12, chapter 34, in verse 12. Behold, tomorrow we will go and assemble our brothers, the Canaanitish brethren who dwell in the land, and we will come and smite you and all those who trust in you, that there shall not be a remnant left from you or them. And when Hamor and his son Shechem and all the people of the city heard the words of Chedicum and his brothers, they were terribly afraid of their lives at the words, and they repented of what they had done. Oh, there was tidings against him. And Shechem and his father Hamor answered their father Chedicum, it's their own father, and his brethren, and they said unto them, all the words which you have spoken to us are true. Now do not say nor imagine in your hearts that on account of the love of the Hebrews we did this thing that our ancestors did not command us. Because, in other words, they knew that the land of Canaan was a stolen land, like the United States, like Australia, like even Europe and all the other places. They're stolen, but for a reason. They're not your home. Those of you who do not know, it's not your home. These lands are occupied by people that don't even, that God, it's a mystery that people don't even understand why God even calls such a thing. But he nevertheless, let's keep going. And his brethren said, they said unto him, all the words you spoke unto us are true. Verse 15. And do not say nor imagine in your heart that on the account of the love of the Hebrews we did this thing that our ancestors did not command us. But because we saw that it was not in their intention and desire to accede our wishes concerning their daughter as to our taking her, except on this condition. So we hearkened to their voices and did this act which you saw in order to obtain our desire from them. And when we shall have obtained our request from them, we will then return to them and do unto them that which you say unto us. Now see, it was a setup. They wanted Dinah, but as soon as they did what the children of Jacob had asked them to do in order to mingle, they was going to turn around and demise or delete the children of Jacob. See, this is the work of devils. 18, and we beseech you then to wait and tarry until our flesh shall be healed, and we again become strong, and we will then go together against them and do unto them that which is in your hearts and in ours. The work of devils. It's that M God. It's the M God. It's the B God. It's all these were of the children of Canaan and also Mizraim. These are the devils that really rule the world, that were taken to draw men astray, which God have commissioned that they should draw men away from them. Even to this day, these so-called spirits do their work. When you get into false doctrine and all manner of things, they're there to get you to believe that there is more than one God. Let's go. 19. And Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, heard all these words which Chedicum and his brothers had spoken, and what Hamor and his son Shechem and the people of their city had answered them. And she hastened and sent one of her maidens that her father had sent to take care of her in the house of Shechem to Jacob, her father, and to her brethren, saying, and thus did Chedicum and his brothers advise concerning you, and thus did Hamor and Shechem and the people of the city answer them. And when Jacob heard these words, he was filled with wrath, and he was indignant at them, and his anger was kindled against them. And Simeon and Levi swore, or should I say Levi, not Jacob, not Joseph, swore and said, as the I am liveth, the God of the whole earth, by this time tomorrow there shall not be a remnant left in the whole city. And the 20 young men had concealed themselves who were not circumcised, and these young men fought against Simeon and Levi, and Simeon and Levi killed 18 of them. 2 fled from them and escaped from the lime pits. Now, you go and you don't have the lime pits in South Africa. You don't have those lime pits. Those lime pits are there, right there in the land of Canaan, where it is said to be. Them lime pits are there. We're going to put up some things for you. I've seen them. I'm going to put them up as soon as I can download them. Yes, those lime pits are not in America. or should I say the U.S. and all these other places, they are distinctly and shown. These lime pits were made for mortar. They were made to build walls, and it's just like you would take bricks and lay bricks. These lime pits were used to put stone upon stone. Yes, this is like mortar, laying cinder block. For those of you who are masons that understand masonry. Now, one thing, lime was not. It was not a good. Should I say lime? They would burn the lime. They used the pit because what they would do was heat the lime up. And lime, it was good. It lasted. The pyramids was used. Lime pits was used in the pyramids also, and also, or should I say in Mitzrayim, it was used there in different parts. And then they come with cement that we have now, the Portland cement. Where the Portland name come from, I don't know. But either way, let's continue. And 20 young men concealed them. Okay, let's go to 25. And Simeon and Levi continued to go about in the city, and they killed all the people of the city at the edge of the sword, and they left none remaining. Now, not just Simeon and Levi by themselves. There were other men with them, yes, that had just deleted the whole city of Shechem. And there was a great consternation in the midst of the city, and the cry of the people of the city descended to heaven, and all the women and children cried aloud. I'm sure they cried so hard you can hear it miles away. And Simeon and Levi slew all the city, and they left not a male remaining in the whole city. In other words, to destroy the evil. Because the male is the people. Females are transitional. They can bear for one nation or one man. See, many women don't get it. And they're trying to, should I say, design their own definition of their function or one of their functions. No, you better get it right. It's just to humble yourself and the man to humble himself. You are a provider. You are a protector. That's what you are. That's what God he said, even your sons, having sons, they will protect the gate. In the book of Proverbs. Now, let us keep going. And they slew Hamor and Shechem, his son, at the edge of the sword, and they brought away Dinah from the house of Shechem, and they went from there. Justice is served. Because they murdered Dinah. When you molest, whether it was a male or female, when you grape a male or female, you've just murdered that person. And for that, there is nothing but the sentence of execution. Yes, not only that life, but the life to come, or in the next life, as some would put it. And the sons of Jacob went and returned and came upon the slain and spoiled all their property which was in the city and the field. And whilst they were taking the spoil, 300 men stood up and threw dust at them and struck them with stones. And when Simeon turned to them, he slew them all with the edge of the sword. And Simeon turned before Levi and came into the city, and they took away their sheep and their oxen and their cattle, also the remainder of the women and little ones. And they led all these away, and they opened the gate that went out and came unto their father Jacob with vigor. In other words, we won, we won. And when Jacob saw all that they had done to the city, and he saw the spoil that they took from them, Jacob was very angry at them. And Jacob said unto them, what is this you have done to me? Behold, I obtained rest among the Canaanitish inhabitants of the land, and none of them meddled with me. In other words, I had peace among them. Even though he didn't know that was his land. That was the land of Shem. That whole area from north to south, all the way to the Red Sea, into the Gulf. The land of Shem. Yes, that's whom God gave it to. Now, let's continue. Yes, and he says in verse 33, and now you have done to make me obnoxious in the inhabitants of the land amongst the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I am but of a small number. It's like I tell you, they was outnumbered. And they will all assemble against me and slay me, and when they hear of your work with their brethren, and I and my household will be destroyed. But watch God. And Simeon and Levi and all their brothers with them answered their father Jacob and said unto him, Behold, we live in the land. And shall Shechem do this to our sister? In other words, you protect your people, man. Judah, Israel, Benoni, protect your people. Yes, some of them are wayward, and many of them are not who you think they are. Some of them have the same hue as you, but they're not you. This you must go by Eve in your law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances. Those who obey those things, yes, they belong to you. Yes. And we shall put it in that area. Regardless of whether they burn the New Testament, the Bible, whatever they want to burn, let them burn it. That's God got that under control. You have nothing, don't worry about that. That's something for people who are pagan. But either way, he said, and shall Shechem do this to our sister? Why art thou silent at all that Shechem has done? And shall he deal with our sister as with a harlot in the streets? And the number of the women whom Simeon and Levi took captive from the city of Shechem, whom they did not slay, were 85 who had not known man. And amongst them was a young damsel of beautiful appearance and well favored, whose name was Bunah. Oh, a beautiful old black woman, huh? Not old, but young, should I say. And Simeon took her for a wife. He took a Canaanite for a wife here. Just let you know that it's not the woman, it's the man according to this narrative. Now, these you have the pagans, they go by the mother or the monarchy. But God goes by the patriarchy. Yes. And you can say all you want. Get mad, get glad, jump and do flips or whatever, and put all the posts up you want. God deals with the man. Some of you get out here with all these prophecies and all this other stuff. God, I ain't never seen God in all my life. All these women pop up and they got a feeling. That's all you working on. Most of you are working on your feelings. And everything you say is already, why don't you just read the scripture that is in and find out the verse, the chapter and verse of it, and then come back and say, well, God led my heart to show you this scripture. But no, you want to seem all spiritual. You've been regurgitating those things from your own pastors and these old crazy women standing up there talking about their prophetess, effeminizing men and everything else and doing their evil in the pulpits of Christianity. And some of you call yourself even women of the Old Testament, even of Israel. And you know the truth. Barren and no husband, many children, and not even seeking to do that which God had told you to do. You're not a nail in a sure place for anybody. But anyway, and I do not swallow my words. And all according to this I don't, because I know that I'm right according to this, because this is right. And all the young men and the women Simeon took captive from the city of Shechem were servants to the sons of Jacob, to their children after them, until the days of the son of Jacob going forth from the land of Egypt. And when Simeon and Levi had gone forth from the city, the two young men that were left, who had concealed themselves in the city, did not die amongst the people of the city, and rose up. And these young men went into the city and walked about in it, and found the city desolate without man, and only women weeping. And these young men cried out and said, Behold, this is the evil which the sons of Jacob the Hebrew did to this city in their having this day destroyed one of the Canaanitish cities, and were not afraid in their lives in all the land of Canaan. See, they were vehement. We're going to protect our own. You violate our sister Dinah. You come amongst us and you push yourself upon us. We're going to take what's yours, and we're going to bring it so low. And this is what the heathen fear of the children of Jacob. But it will not be the children of Jacob. It will be God himself that will subdue you, because you have brought about so much horror of the children of Jacob, because you have exceeded even the chastisement that God has sentenced upon them, and gone beyond what you should do, even to the point where you say, they shall not rise, I will keep them down, and everyone that looks like them. This was the work of God. God did all this to chastise the children of Jacob. Yes, he did. And, verse 39, and these men left the city and went to the city of Tapnach, and they came there and told the inhabitants of Tapnach all that had befallen them. Now they had to go back into Mizraim, or back toward that way. All that had befallen them, and all that the sons of Jacob had done to the city of Shechem. And the information reached Jasher, king of Tapnach. And he sent men to the city of Shechem to see those young men, for the king did not believe them in this account, saying, how could two men lay waste to such a large town as Shechem? And the messengers of Jasher came back and told him, saying, we came unto the city, and it is destroyed, and there is not a man there, only weeping women, neither there is any flock or cattle there. For all that was in the city, the sons of Jacob took away. And Jasher wondered at this saying, and how could two men do this thing to destroy so large a city, and not one man able to stand against him? Oh boy. In other words, their private parts was hurting. You couldn't do nothing. This is what it would do to you. When you get that circumcision, there's a period of soreness. I mean, you just that's the most vulnerable part of a man, either way. Now, for the like has not been from the days of Nimrod, and not even from the remotest time that the like has taken place. And Jasher, king of Tapnach, said to this people, be courageous, and we will go and fight against these Hebrews, and do unto them as they did unto the city, and we will avenge the cause of the people of the city. Now you have to realize, God was in this also. He made this soreness even more sore. No, it doesn't say that, but we know if you follow the Most High, you see his way. Some things you don't see that God does. He ain't got to tell you everything that he allows or does. No, you just give him praise and glory for your deliverance. And that even if he delivered your enemies into your hands and caused them to be subdued, even though they're great numbers and you a small number, give him praise and glory and all honor. I mean, hold a party for the Most High, because he loves to serve those that he have called to himself. You are his joy, the apple of his eye, Jacob. And Jasher, king of Tapnach, consulted with his counsel about this matter, and the advisor said unto him, alone wilt thou not prevail over the Hebrews, for they must be powerful to do this work to the whole city. And two of them laid waste the whole city, and no one stood against them. Surely if thou wilt go against them, they will all rise against us and destroy us likewise. Trust in the Lord with all thy might, and lean not to thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. This is the way of Jacob. And with that, we're going to say, until next time, peace.